November the 30th, 2024. Guys, I hope all of you staying safe this weekend. I know it's been nice to see friends and family and get some good food and watch some football or whatever you enjoy doing with your friends and family. But remember, you're going to be driving through some bad weather, especially, I think, Sunday, guys, when a lot of people will be returning home, going back to work. So just be extra careful. I've seen videos up around the Great Lakes this morning of miles of cars and trucks, big 18-wheelers stuck in the snow. Headlights on, I guess, as long as they've got gas in their cars. Nothing moving. I'm talking about deep snow, and the major lake effect snow has halted travel all around the Great Lakes area. So that's really, you don't want to be stuck out in the cold, in the snow in your vehicle. No travel is worth that. You know, at least the big 18-wheelers, they've got big diesel tanks on the side and they can keep their cab heated. But you can't, it's not really safe to do it in a car like that. But guys, anyway, you're looking at a map. This really goes through next week. And you can see where the cold air is. If you look at the very far south, we're down towards the Hattiesburg area, coming across Alabama here south of Montgomery, and moving out over the east coast through Georgia and South Carolina. It goes up all the way to the Canadian border on both sides of the nation, and you've got multiple surges of Arctic airs coming in. We talked about this when we saw the difference in the hurricane season and some of the weather tracking off the Atlantic. And we saw where the International Convergence Zone moved north as the Earth tilted south over 150 miles. And we talked about the concern that we may have an early and cold winter, and it couldn't come at a worse time because of all our friends up in the mountains, from Hurricane Helene and people down in Florida. Anywhere that you're stuck outside and don't have much at all, then guys, there's still videos up to where they need a lot of help in that area. One of the things I'm going to do this afternoon is a friend down the road here, a couple of houses down, he cuts firewood during the wintertime. He cuts it during summer, and then he's got it stacked up, and he's also one of our emergency responders. He drives an ambulance in this area. But anyway, he has firewood, and I'm going to get me an extra cord today and get it delivered at least by Monday, because if it's starting out like this and we're only at the end of November, then we're going to see some pretty rough stuff, I think, when we get into late December, January, and February. I hope not, but it sure is piling up to look like that. They're saying if the mild autumn months caused any delay in dusting off winter jackets, gloves, scarves, and boots, it is time to delay no more. Arctic air will have staying power across the U.S. or the East U.S. as it surges southeastward in waves through the first week of December. It's coming from AccuWeather. Now, this morning, central Mississippi, we're below Jackson, guys, and it was 30 degrees at daylight when we got up, and it remained that way for several hours up to probably 8:30, maybe 9. It was still below freezing here. Now, tonight it's going to be colder, and then tomorrow night it's going to be around 25 in our area here, guys, because it's just going to keep pushing further south. We haven't felt the coldest yet, but again, pets and plants are a major deal. You don't want to have frozen pipes burst on you. If you're concerned about that, now is the time, especially if you're using PVC or copper maybe that's exposed, is to go to the hardware store, get some extra glue, some elbows, fittings, and all of that. You understand what I'm talking about, right? We have replaced most of the pipes in this house, guys, to PEX, P-E-X, and it's easy to work with. It can swell a little bit if it freezes inside, but unless it's major pressure, it will not burst and go back down when it heats up. Now, I have heard people say that in extreme north sections of the country where it really gets cold, that they have seen it burst most of the times at the fittings. But again, don't be stuck without electricity after this freeze comes through, or have slippery roads and the hardware stores closed. Just go spend a couple bucks, get you a thing of glue and a couple sticks of pipe and elbows and things like that, some couplings. Might come in real handy real fast. It says December 1st marks the beginning of meteorological winter. They noted that conditions may feel more like the middle of the season when factoring in a bone-chilling wind coming off the heels of a warm fall will add further shock value to the sustained cold pattern. Many areas across the northern Teal will start the month of December with temperatures well below historical averages. Guys, they're talking about maybe 15 degrees lower. And that was my concern as we were seeing these weather changes throughout this past summer. Freezing temps will plunge deep into the southeast, and the frigid air will be wind-driven and penetrating into the Midwest and Northeast. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Alex Sosnowski said, "The core of the Arctic air will reside in the northern plains and upper Midwest into early week, with highs climbing no greater than the single digits, teens, and 20s. Even for this part of the country, where bursts of Arctic air can hit frequently, these levels are 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit below historical averages into the beginning of December." That is not a drop you want to play with, guys. You know how cold it gets in your area. Now, take 10 to 20 degrees off that and consider we're still in the last day or 2 days of November. Now, this is for tonight and into the morning, Sunday a.m. Notice top left there. Your light blues that you're seeing from Virginia Beach, Charlotte, Nashville. You can see it's getting all the way down into central Mississippi. The map doesn't quite show it. I'll pull it up slightly right there, but up down into the deep south, Springfield, Kansas City, all into this area, back into northern Texas. You're going to be from 20 to 30 degrees. See that? In the darker blue from Charleston, Washington, St. Louis, Scottsbluff, Rapid City, 10 to 20. In the darker blue, 0 to 10. And then when you get in this area from Minneapolis to Fargo, you're talking about 10 to 0. That's tonight in the morning. Like I said, it was predicted to be around freezing, but it did not come above 30 till later on in the morning. And right now, the sun's out here. The winds have died back somewhat. It's a beautiful day. Let's see, it's 53 degrees, and the humidity's 44, so it's not that bad. So, guys, what you got to do in these places, wake up. Now, a lot of you are traveling, and I was concerned about this, and you may not be prepared. As a matter of fact, I talked to a good friend of ours that were already in Texas, checking in with some friends and families, and they really weren't aware of what they would be driving back through. Unfortunately, they talked to BP Earthwatch. But so a lot of people aren't really paying attention to a lot of this. They're just strictly thinking about getting back and forth during the holidays. And if you saw the pictures, there may be a still shot I can show you here, but I'll link to this article, and you can watch some of the storm chasers' drone videos going over these big interstates at night, flying over, and just miles of cars and trucks stuck in the snow. And really, how are you going to get in there to all of those people when you can't really even drive through there? The waves of cold air will lose some of their sting, but not their shock value as they sweep into the northeast into early December. High temps will generally be in the 30s and lower 40s across the northeast from this weekend through the majority of next week, with gusty winds plunging AccuWeather real-feel temps into the single digits, teens, and 20s at times. For many along the Interstate 95 corridor of the Northeast, this will be the coldest start to a meteorological winter in years. In New York, for example, the stretch from Sunday to Thursday is likely to be the coldest start to December since 2019, when highs range from 36 to 42 degrees during the December 1 through 5 time frame. And guys, what was it? In 2021, we had the Texas ice storm, I think it was, and it came through. Now, it wasn't this early in the year, but that shut down everything. Even here, guys, it was 3 or 4 inches of ice everywhere for several days. Power was out. Thank goodness we had a little bit of solar power and a wood-burning stove heater, because that really saved us. And some of our kids that live nearby and grandkids came and stayed with us. But we hope we don't have that, but we're still early in the winter. All it would take with this system, and we're going to look at the satellite images, is a lot of moisture building in under that cold air, or over the cold air and dropping through it, and changing it to snow, sleet, or ice. That's what we're going to be watching for very closely. saying the cold, blustery weather will be rocket fuel for setting off the season's first significant lake effect snow event of the season downwind of the Great Lakes. But guys, like I said, right now and through last night, there was hundreds and hundreds of people trapped. Now, they're saying this sustained cold will drive an increased demand for home heating oil, winter clothing, and outwear, while proving to be a boon to ski resorts from West Virginia to New England. That's what I'm talking about. Firewood, extra heating oil, whatever you're using in your area. We don't have it really here in our state. We have natural gas, things like that. But, of course, electricity. We depend on a lot of our solar. But, guys, don't wait till it's on top of you and you got to go get these supplies. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And in the cold weather is not the time to fail, is it? But you can see here, this is Tuesday through Thursday. It's going to come up pretty quick. Tomorrow's Monday. Rain and snow. Look at this corridor here. Check that out. New York, Boston, Bangor, all the way up into here. And the blue is mostly snow. The pink is rain and snow, but the blue is mostly snow. And this comes out of this Alberta Clipper. They're talking about Thursday or Tuesday through Thursday. Comes all the way through Duluth, Green Bay, Detroit, Binghamton, Boston, Portland, Burlington, Toronto. You can see it all the way through this. A good bit of the Northeast is going to be in bad shape, and it already is. So you still, guys, you may not thaw out from all that snow that you see these people are stuck in. And I can't say enough about our folks in the mountains up in the Carolinas and through that area. They're still in trouble. I'm watching videos. If you type into YouTube, people are asking for help, or Hurricane Helene victims in the mountain areas of the Carolinas. They're still asking for more and more help, and it's really cold up there. So, guys, if you can get in touch with anybody in there, or you can get together a caravan, maybe a trailer full, a couple of you got cats, get together and carry some propane. They're going to need water, little stoves and things like that. Any kind of food you can get there would be of tremendous help. Right now, they've got to stay alive and keep from freezing, so don't forget about them in your area. Because we talked about the Southeast, but Florida's not out of that area, especially northern Florida. For sure, you saw it curved there. They wasn't showing the bottom of that map. But it's definitely in that zone, and they're talking about it. They're saying the latest chill will pave the way for Alberta Clipper storms to bring quick heating bouts of snow to the upper Midwest and Northeast next week. These storms will briefly disrupt the lake effect snow machine and bring more widespread accumulations of coating to a few inches. Further south, agricultural interests in Florida will need to pay close attention to the forecast in the coming days, as freezing air will plunge to the Gulf Coast on multiple occasions in the next week, not just one time. Freezing temps can reach northern Florida, especially between December 2nd and the 5th. Temps should stay above freezing in central Florida near the citrus and vegetable growing areas, but people should be prepared for this early surge of cold. And guys, again, if they're telling you to be prepared for this one, we are just starting the first real winter this week. So make any kind of pre-preps. If you're going to have to cover up plants and all, do you have that material with you? You need some plastic, whatever you need. And make sure your pets are not left where they cannot get shelter and heat. That's very important. Let's look at the satellite images. Now, guys, this is the northeast U.S. This is current satellite images. And look at the lake effect snow. You got cool, moist air coming in, circling down with this front. These are the kind of multiple fronts, and that's what they're talking about. It's going to be multiple fronts coming through next week. But about halfway across Lake Michigan, check that out, the snow starts building up. It's really piling up right in this area. This is Holland down in here. This is Grand Traverse Bay. And Traverse City there, I spent several weeks working back in the 70s, just as I was a senior in high school that summer. But this, in its beautiful land, got Big Bear Lake up there, and it's just beautiful country. Anyway, this is what's piling up on them here. You've got another big area of snow coming off the lakes here and moving across. This is going to be the most dangerous areas by far. Now, anywhere in the upper elevations, too, you're going to have to watch for it. Now, this is where moisture is. The yellows and oranges, that's your higher clouds. That's where more rain is. Sometimes this light blue area is just very light mist or snow. But right now, you can see it's pretty much snow because of the temperatures. And check this out. But right here, there's going to be more moisture right there in central Michigan where the clouds were getting higher. So there, coming down from here's your large areas. This is going to be building up because of you got a lake here, 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 all the way over to Lake Michigan right there, down into Missouri, Indiana, Illinois area, into top of Arkansas right there. This is Tennessee, coming out into North Carolina right there, across the southern section of the Outer Banks. This is going to be building up and pushing further south. Remember, tonight we could be in the 30s in central Mississippi, which we were last night. Tomorrow night, 25. So be prepared for that, guys. It could be even lower, just depending on how fast the winds pick up in your area. Let's back up and look at the entire nation. And you can see here what they're talking about, these multiple waves. We had one that started coming in. We got a lot of people trapped. Look at this, just continuing for quite a long period. You guys all through the Northeast, you're probably starting to see a good bit of snow with the temperatures of where they are. Now, Southern California, much needed moisture I hope you're going to get because you were having problems with those fires. Now, out into the Atlantic, guys, you in the UK, in that area, keep an eye on it because you got a large area of very cold air and moist air moving across the Atlantic. You can see it in the Northeast, and it's a very good chance you guys will feel some of that. But, guys, this is what we're dealing with. Again, we can handle it, but our friends up in the mountains and in Florida that don't have a place to go need your help. Guys, from my home to Cherokee, North Carolina, it's 500 miles. That's our halfway point when we go to D.C. It's 1,000 miles from my home to downtown D.C. And that I can't drive more than just to the doctor once a month or maybe twice a month now because something about the cervical vertigo or whatever they call it just makes the dizziness and the problems that I'm having a lot worse. So, and it's not fun at all. So I don't enjoy travel at all. Matter of fact, I don't think I could make 1,000-mile round trip. If I was a few years younger, I've got my old Tahoe and a trailer, and I'd probably have made a few trips already. But you guys, some of you young cats, and girls and guys that are on the edges of those disaster areas, just think about this on this Thanksgiving weekend. Think about it. You're right there at it. You can make a lot quicker trip than I could, and you know more about the terrain, where the roads are, where the roads aren't anymore, and you're there where you can get some fresh supplies in. Again, the Mr. Buddy heaters at Walmart, probably none in that area, but some of you have paid attention over the years, but with the flooding, think of how many preppers lost everything, guys. Think about it, especially in the mountains here. So if you're in that area and you can help, please do it. Find out from your local churches what they're doing. Tie into that with someone you can trust. And let's go from there. But again, we're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Guys, be safe.